If you've watched some of my other videos, I've talked about some stuff that I've learned in therapy, and I've been consistently in therapy for almost 2 years now. The reason why I wanted to make this video now is because my therapy sessions actually have come to an end. I've had a beautiful experience and my last session ended really well, so I just really wanted to share. So a major thing that I've noticed myself continually being triggered by almost every week, every month has been my relationships to other people. I'm not talking about romantic relationships, I'm mostly talking about friendships. What's tough about me in general is that, as I've mentioned, I have an attachment wound, more specifically the anxious attachment. In short, I didn't get what I needed from my mother, and I'm not blaming my mother or anything, I'm just saying this trauma that I carry with me into all relationships concerning listening and expectations. I'm not saying everyone who doesn't listen to you or doesn't cater to your expectations is bad. Obviously not. Where my problem is coming from me always being outside of myself and constantly being offended or triggered that other people aren't giving me what I need. It's not everyone's job to give me what I need. Ultimately, in therapy, I learned that it's something I must give myself. I've been in therapy almost 2 years now, and I literally didn't know how to give it to myself until last week. For example, I would be triggered by someone who doesn't really respond when I respond to that person all the time. You know, they tell me about something that's going on with them and I'd be like, oh cool, and write this nice response, and then maybe tell them something that's going on with me and then crickets. And that has a tendency, I've noticed, to put me in the wrong space because I think that they don't care. I just feel ignored. Stuff like that. And a constant theme throughout my therapy was saying, others don't care about me, so-and-so doesn't care, nobody cares. The biggest thing that I notice is that I don't allow myself to actually sit with those feelings. I'm constantly trying to figure out how to make them stop or distract myself into thinking something else. Because, you know, I'm big into the law of manifestation and I do believe in what you think, you know, becomes reality. So I knew that by thinking they don't care about me, that's a bad thought and I should move on. And that has been my habit for a while now, for years. I never fixed my problem of feeling offended or triggered by that because I kept trying to move on from it so quickly. My therapist recommended this woman to me. Her name is Tara Brach. She's written a few books and she has an amazing podcast that I listen to. But she has a method called RAIN, and the acronym stands for Recognize, Allow, Investigate, and Nurture. A nice acronym to think about, you know, when you're going through something triggering or traumatic, or when you find yourself, you know, feeling outside of yourself. Now, I've been pretty good at recognizing because all of therapy is about awareness, and I've become pretty damn aware in the last couple of years. So recognizing it is the first part. I had that down stat, great. Next is allowing. For some reason, I have always gotten stuck at this step or never really did it correctly, and at times where I thought I was allowing, I was just like, okay, yeah, I'm good. Third is investigate. I think I pretty much glossed over or skipped completely allowing and went just straight to investigate because I am so good at already being aware of myself. The investigating came natural to me because I was just, you know, constantly delving into why I felt this way, and then I'd be like, man, it's because of my attachment or whatever, or because I'm just leaning too much into expectations again, or, oh gosh, I'm outside of myself again and not thinking about what I truly want and need, you know? So the investigating came to me easily, and honestly, it was kind of torturous at times because I already have a brain that goes at like 1,000,000 miles per minute, and I'm just constantly thinking of new things, and my ego is screaming at myself, you know, saying, get over it, you know this is bad, etc., etc. Thoughts never stop, so the investigating comes natural. And then fourth is nurture. So that's something I also never really did. Once you become more aware, once you investigate more, nurturing can become second nature because you realize that those bad thoughts are not true. So therefore it's easy sometimes to pat yourself on the back and say, that's not true, you're doing great, I believe in you, you're okay. And I'm saying it half-heartedly as a joke, as sarcasm, because that's the way I've been saying it to myself, all because I glossed over the allowing step. The allowing, I think, is actually the most important step of this whole process. So I had a situation where I just felt, again, this so-and-so doesn't care about me. When I was talking to my therapist, she's like, okay, what's this about? And I'm like, I just feel like they don't care. They're not listening. They're not doing this or this. And then she just asked me to dig deeper and really just turn it back to me, first of all, because what do I want? It's not them doing something to me. It's me projecting onto them. I say they don't care, but it's because I want to feel needed. I want to be listened to. Where's that want coming from? My screaming inner child. I already talked a little briefly about, how I didn't get what I needed when I was younger. I realized I need caring and I need to be listened to. Okay, my screaming inner child feels like no one cares. In that moment, the allowing part is to let those feelings ride. I felt a tightness in my chest. I felt stuck in my throat. I feel stuck up here, almost all the time whenever I feel those feelings. And we just sat with it. No judgment, no trying to pat myself on the back and be like, it's okay. It took a few minutes until those feelings passed through me. I felt it tightly here. It moved to my throat. Then it went to the top of my head. And then it just vanished and I was back to my state. These triggers, these feelings are waves. They'll come and go. Allowing those feelings and just sitting with it, my mind finally became blank because I was just focused on those feelings and I let them do its thing. And then my therapist asked me to visualize, what do I need? What can I give myself right now? And I realized that I care, that I'm the one who cares, that I'm the one who needs to care about me. And I noticed my people not caring about me to be like this kind of black box inside me that always comes up. The most important thing I could have said to myself was that this belongs. This black box, this screaming inner child, is a part of me, and I don't need to shut it down or throw it away. In fact, by myself shutting it down many times, I never really fully healed my problem. So by recognizing this black box of no one cares, I was able to, in my mind, visualize me in a room with a ton of shelves and this black box. In that moment, I swear, it all just came up and I just visualized me doing it. I took this black box and I put it on a high shelf and I said, this is important. I care. I keep saying that no one else cares, but that's not true. I care. I am important. And I finally put this black box where it needed to belong, on a high shelf. Not buried in the ground, not smushed, not suffocated, which I mentally, unconsciously, subconsciously was doing to myself this whole entire time for years. And I finally recognized that for me, it was just so important to put myself on this high shelf, to say that I'm important. And because I care about myself, because I put myself on this high shelf, now when I have my relationships, I won't need that so much from them, and I can just be normal. Because you're not trying to get these things from people. I'm not saying that you shouldn't expect anything from anyone. We all have relationships to get what we need. And that's why community exists, that's why friendships exist, that's why romantic relationships exist. We all need that, but we need more than ever to give ourselves what we need. There were so many other lessons, I learned in therapy, but this is a thing that came up for me every single week. I swear, it kind of drove me crazy until I realized that I just wasn't allowing myself to sit with it. You may or may not know this already, but if you didn't, I hope that my experience shed some light on how you can handle those hard feelings for yourself when they come up. And to not get discouraged if they come up again and again, because they will. It's not over for me, but now I know that when it does come up, I can allow them to be and know that it's a part of me and that I don't need to get rid of it. Of course, I would love to be done with it, but that's honestly not how it works. I was doing therapy for a while because I thought that I would be able to just scrap that part of myself and move on to enlightenment or whatever. But part of enlightenment, I feel, for myself is carrying all that stuff with you, but not allowing it to affect you anymore. I hope this has helped you. Thanks for watching this. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.